Okay, so by now, you've all already heard all the positive stuff about this movie. You've heard that it's fun, refreshing, new, the best Thor film, a massive crowd pleaser, it's got over 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, many people are even saying it's their new all-time favorite Marvel film. However, let's not ignore all the negatives in this movie, because the one thing that no one is saying about this film is that this movie is... I got nothing. This movie really is just that good. I was kind of hoping that if I just kept talking, I would think of something to complain about before I finished that sentence, but I can't. It's just that good. Yeah, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that Thor Ragnarok is easily going to stand alongside many of Marvel's other greatest movies, which is made all the more impressive when you consider that the Thor films have generally been considered by filmgoers to be the weakest of Marvel's lineup. However, when you take these characters and this universe and you put it in the hands of a director like Taika Waititi, he is able to bring tons of action, humor, and lots of heart to this franchise. But, what is this movie about? Well, after hunting down the Infinity Stones, Thor realizes the prophecy of Ragnarok, the death of Asgard, is upon him. So he must defeat Surtur, a giant lava monster, only to learn that something has happened to Odin. He then returns home only to find that Loki is disguising himself as Odin. The two of them then go on a search for their father, only to learn of the god of death, Hela, who has returned and is heading to Asgard to kill pretty much everyone. Thor is then sent halfway across the universe where he is a prisoner on the Grandmaster's planet, where he now has to battle the Hulk, find a way off the planet, and return home in time to save his people. Okay, I'll admit, the plot to this movie is insane. It makes the plot to Batman vs. Superman seem comprehensible. However, who cares? This story has 9 crazy things all happening at once, introduces brand new characters every couple of scenes, and it's got subplots on top of subplots, but all of that is there to give these characters an opportunity to be explored, to be humorous, and to just show off their massive personalities. And that's exactly what they do, and it's exactly why this film works. Their personalities are the main attraction of this movie, and it's what makes this film so darn good. The Marvel films have always had a dash of humor to them, but this is the first one that I would say is a flat-out comedy, even more than the Guardians films. This one has a joke almost every minute, and almost all of them actually hit. But they don't just overrun you with comedy. They make sure to stop every now and again to remind you that this film has heart. The Thor films were always meant to be about family, and this one actually touches on that better than any of the previous two. And this one isn't just the best Thor film we've gotten, it's the best Hulk film we've gotten. Sure, the Hulk is also here for laughs, but through those laughs, you actually get a sense of the pain he feels, of the struggles he's going through. And Thor himself is funnier than ever. It's almost like Marvel just looked at that Thor Civil War skit that they did and said, "Oh, is that what you guys wanted? We thought you wanted Shakespeare and Lord of the Rings in space, but if this is what you want, we can do that." But at the same time, the way that he treats Loki all throughout this shows that he has changed and he's actually smarter than he lets on. It's a very subtle but great character development. And I haven't even mentioned the new characters, each of whom are so good, I can see each of them being someone's personal favorite. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie is a breakout personality. You don't get any idea of what she's like in the film from the trailers, but when she finally shows up, I was stunned by her character and how well Thompson captured that. Speaking of the trailers, I thought Jeff Goldblum seemed kind of flat as the Grandmaster, and everything I saw made it look like he was just going to be here for a paycheck, and I was actually kind of nervous about him, but wow was I wrong. He showed up to work and to have fun. And Carl Urban as the Executioner might have been totally different from his character in the comics, but you know what? Good. Because they actually made him a character with an arc who you got invested in. But to me, each of them pale in comparison to Cate Blanchett as Hela. Listen, I know that the Marvel films have always had a problem with their villains, but between Baron Zemo, Ego, the Vulture, and now Hela, they have majorly course-corrected on that. I don't know if Hela is the best Marvel villain, but she's easily my personal favorite. She is the goddess of death, and she has a backstory that shows you just how evil she is, but at the same time, makes you understand her motivation. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you root for her, you don't sympathize with her, she is pure evil, but she's not evil for the sake of being evil. In fact, her origin actually ties into the origin of Asgard, and I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say that I've often said superheroes can be metaphors for things in the real world, and holy cow does this ever fit that classification. In fact, the message behind her origin is woven in here so well, it's one of the most brilliant things about this movie. But the thing that really makes Hela so great is just her personality. She isn't just evil, she is the most feelin' it supervillain of all time. This is a character that in the hands of anyone else could have fallen flat and been seen as one note, but Cate Blanchett makes Hela not just wicked, she lets you know that she loves being this bad. When she suits up for battle, it looks like she's in an Herbal Essence shampoo commercial because murder is her drug of choice and she just loves indulging in it. And Cate Blanchett sells that with every line of dialogue. Just like the rest of this film, the personality behind everything is the star of the movie. But before I continue, I have to go ahead and address something about this film that a lot of people have complained about, not just with the Marvel films, but with all superhero films in general, which is that people are starting to say that they're feeling fatigued by the stakes of these movies. And what I mean by that is that people are getting tired of every single one of these movies being the hero has to save the whole world. Everything is blowing up, everything is about to end, but then in the end, the hero does save everything and everything is okay. Not in this film. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything, but I have to mention this because it's one of the major things about this film that deserves applause, which is that Ragnarok is the fabled death of all the Norse gods. And this movie ain't messing around with that. There are major characters from the previous Thor films who permanently exit stage left in this movie. In fact, they kill off so many characters in here. I actually looked at something in this film and went, oh, I see. You're going to use that to reset everything and save everyone and bring everyone back to life. Nope. When a character is gone in this film, they're gone. And I was honestly stunned that they were willing to do that with so many characters. And also to all the people out there who keep saying that these movies follow a formula and they all have to end the exact same way, this movie ends in a way that turns to the audience and goes, didn't see that coming, did ya? The ending of this film is big, it is truly epic, and it is very different from all the other Marvel films. However, at the same time, you leave with a smile on your face because it really does feel like the perfect way to end the Thor trilogy. Now, I will admit, as much as I enjoyed this film, I did have some problems. One being that, as funny as this movie is, there are so many jokes in here that sometimes I felt it took away from the dramatic moments. For example, there is a huge moment with a character that should have been really emotional and tugged at your heartstrings, but instead it just leads up to a massive pratfall, and yes, it's funny, but it kind of diffused all the drama in that moment. Also, this movie moves fast. Like, really fast. In fact, in all honesty, I've complained about that with almost every single Marvel film. I've always said that Act 1 of a Marvel film is just wham bam, let's get you into the story. But this is the one time when that's actually kind of a positive, because this film realizes how many dangling plot threads it had to wrap up from the previous movie, and it realizes you don't care about that. You don't want to see an entire movie where you know that Loki is pretending to be Odin but Thor doesn't know. They wrap that up immediately because they realize you just want to get to Ragnarok. So let's get you to Ragnarok. In all honesty, they're kind of right. I just want to get to Ragnarok. So this is the one time when the quick pace of one of these Marvel films actually felt like a good thing. They actually took something that I complained about in all the other movies and turned it into a positive. So yes, the story might have been overly complex just so that way they could have shoved 5 different superhero movies all into one, and the humor did occasionally undercut the drama in a scene where the movie really could have used some, but for the rest of the film, the humor along with the heart and the characters is what makes this movie so successful. Not to mention, so many of these superhero movies are suffering from massive battle and end of the world fatigue, and yet this one, which is about nothing but massive battles and end of the world, somehow manages to make all of that feel new and fresh with the directions it took. And this is easily in my top 5 favorite Marvel movies, which is a damn good group of films to find yourself in. This movie gets a 9 out of 10. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about Thor Ragnarok. You can also contact me on Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr at Professor Thorgi. And if you have already seen the film, then make sure that you click on our spoiler talk over there. We talk for over an hour about just how much we love this film because, well, yeah, it's just that good of a movie. So thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, come back next time.